Welcome to the Special Olympics Women in Sport webinar series presented by ARI. During this series, we have incredible hosts and panelists joining us from around the world. We will discuss a range of important topics around women in sports. Today's webinar is called Mothers, the Unseen Force in Sports. This webinar celebrates the vital yet often unrecognized role that mothers play in the world of sports and health. Designed for athletes, coaches, and advocates, this session features a blend of personal stories, research, insights, and reflections. Thank you for our incredible sponsor of the Area Real Foundation, who are making this Women in Sports webinar series possible. Before we begin, let's remember that this webinar offers simultaneous interpretation in 8 languages. You can choose your language pressing the globe button at the bottom of the screen. Please add any questions you may have for the speakers in the chat or in the Q&A function. I am Odette and I'm Fabiola. We are the co-host sisters. We've been together for 21 years. And since very young, our mom taught us that the three of us are the best company. She is and has been mom and dad for us. She's been there for us without condition. Although it was difficult for Fabi to play with me, we found a way to work as a team, playing together. We both painted, danced, uh, and we loved watching movies. They repeated every movie over and over again. Today, they can tell us a dialogue or a song from a movie, and we know them by heart. We started in a Special Olympic with badminton in 2016. I as an athlete and my sister as unified partner. After 2 years, we both became athlete leaders, first generation. We not only learned about inclusion, but we also learned the value of family. If the fear about my independence and about my future. Today, Ode is international Guatemalan champion. She has 2 gold medals, 3 silver medals, and 3 bronze medals. She's an athlete leader, health messenger, and she also is an entrepreneur. And she was nominated to an award in Guatemala, and she is the protagonist of a book. My sister does a lot as well. She has participated in every Special Olympics activity. She has unified partner, health messengers, and a Special Olympics volunteer as well. She traveled to Panama in a leadership summit in 2021, and she also has her own business. We are both, we both have the example of our mother, and her perseverance has touched us a lot. You know, as being united, and as we walk together, we achieve great things. We're so proud knowing that each step that we have taken has been worth it. Now that you know a bit about us, let me introduce you to our speakers. You will also first hear Ceri Hooper, a mother from Special Olympics Great Britain. Then we will hear Charita Boseman, a Special Olympics North American staff member, sport and health advocate, and of course, she is a mother. Then after that, we will hear Haidy Trigueros, our mom. She is also part of Special Olympics Guatemala's Board of Directors. And finally, Kiera Byland, a member of the Special Olympics Executive Board of Directors and an accomplished athlete leader. Let's welcome Ceri. Ceri is a Special Olympics mother, a massage therapist with over 35 years of experience in the field. She is married to Gordon Cooper and proud mother of 2 sons, Lloyd and Finlay. Ceri has balanced her professional life with her lifelong passion for running, a competitive athlete since the age of 10. She has represented Wales more than 30 times across track cross country, and road racing. Hi, Ceri. Thanks for joining us. Please take it away.
Hello there. Hi, everybody. I'm Ceri, and I'm going to be telling you my most recent story of myself and my son, who's a Special Olympics athlete. So as a family, we have always been active, with sport being a huge part of our lives. So naturally, I was disappointed when paediatricians told us that Lloyd would have poor muscle tone and coordination and may struggle to walk. I could see my dreams of family dog walks in the country or playing rounders on the beach disappearing. However, even before Lloyd had reached his first birthday, I was aware that their prognosis was quite ridiculous. He wouldn't stay still. He was crawling, climbing, rolling around, and constantly on the move. Lloyd was a total ball of energy, so I enrolled him into as many sports clubs that would take him. Sadly, inclusion was thin on the ground back then, so we were only able to sign him up to the available school clubs. And I bought a trampoline for the garden, which kept him occupied for hours. I come from a family of runners who regularly take part in parkrun. So when Lloyd was 13 and the hole in his heart had started closing on its own, Lloyd was able to join in. We used to take it in turns to run and walk around with him, and he'd usually walk more than run. But he enjoyed being part of it and the cafe breakfast that followed. Watching Lloyd run, I could see that his gait wasn't right. So at 15, he had bilateral knee surgery, which was successful, but resulted in him having a year off exercise. Once Lloyd had totally recovered, he couldn't wait to start running again. And I started back on the hunt for other sports clubs, as Lloyd was now attending an additional needs school where sport was not a priority. Luckily, Lloyd's teacher had just started a Special Olympic football team, so we joined that when he was 17. Being a member of Special Olympics GB, we received an email from them in November 2023 offering disability places for the London Marathon. Lloyd had watched me run the London Marathon on 4 occasions and often said that he'd like to run a marathon. So I asked Lloyd the question. He seemed very excited, so we entered. If I'm honest, I didn't think he was that serious, and I also didn't expect him to gain one of the places. So I was quite taken aback when it was confirmed in December that his place had been accepted. I discussed with Lloyd in detail about the amount of training that would be required, and he still replied, "Let's do this." So we completed the registration form, though before embarking on the training plan, I had him checked out over by our GP and had his running gait looked at again and custom-made orthotics fitted. It was stepping into the unknown for both of us, and we only had 4 months in which to go from 3 miles to 26 miles. I appreciated that this was a huge task which lay ahead. I devised a schedule of 3 sessions per week. I didn't want him to get bored or injured. It was more about him getting around in one piece, and I really wanted him to enjoy the whole experience. We would do 1 long run, which increased by a mile each week, and 2 other runs of varied distance and pace to add variety. The biggest hurdle was Lloyd's concentration span, which was never great at the best of times, so distraction techniques were key. We listened to music, played games. We'd have walk breaks where we'd refuel and hydrate. I made sure to vary the routes and make sure none of them meant going anywhere near the house, as I know he'd just want to go home. We ran down the river, over the heath, through woodlands, down the towpath, and not just endless road running around our town. People got used to seeing us out and would always shout words of encouragement and honk their horns. Lloyd amazed me from day one. As long as I added the running schedule to his iPad calendar, he was always dressed and ready to go training, whatever the weather. The time together was very special. We really got to know each other all over again, remembering how Lloyd could barely run continuously for a mile, and here he was, 1 month in, running non-stop for 5 miles as we chatted away. I could have burst with pride. I felt the same with every extra mile he achieved. I used to carry everything he needed, such as water, jelly beans, gels, and spare hearing aid batteries. If he'd get hot, he'd remove layers and I'd wear them or carry them. It was very wet winter for training, which resulted in a few blisters and wet hearing aids. But these were really the only issues we came up against. And for our longest training run, we managed to get to 18 miles. With exactly 1 month to go, Lloyd was interviewed on our local TV news. This gathered much interest in Lloyd's story and made everything become very real, with good luck messages pouring in and further interviews. We also received confirmation that Lloyd would be attempting an official Guinness World Record. He was more determined than ever to complete his training. He loved the Guinness World Record books, and he thought that if he could get a record, that just spurred him on further. I'd been so focused on the training that I'd not had time to consider race day. With 1 week to go, we were now tapering, and the enormity of the task started to dawn on me. Getting Lloyd around the London Marathon and in under 8 hours, and to achieve his Guinness World Record. I was becoming more and more nervous, particularly as the week leading up to the race day was full with registration, filming, and further interviews. Lloyd was just taking it all in his stride and loving the attention. On marathon day, we arrived at the start area, and I could hear my voice and looked up at the big screen. They were playing our backstory, and everyone started coming up to us for selfies. I was more nervous than if I'd been running for just me. The pressure was immense. I didn't want to let him down, particularly as there was a Guinness World Record at stake. The first 14 miles, Lloyd ran continuously, loving the atmosphere. The support from the crowds was amazing. We turned one corner to see a whole wall of Lloyd masks and banners with Lloyd the Legend on. I had no idea who these fabulous supporters were, and found out later that it was the runner who got injured at the last minute. So he decided to go all out and support 3 unsuspecting runners in their quest to finish, Lloyd being one of them. Lloyd struggled over the last 6 miles. I could see his knee was bothering him. But as soon as he came across some music, he'd start breakdancing or cartwheeling, which reassured me that he was absolutely fine. As we approached Buckingham Palace, I told him the finishing straight was around the corner, and he just took off. I couldn't live with his pace. It was the most special sight, watching him from behind crossing the finish line in 6 hours and 46 minutes. Realizing that he'd achieved both of his dreams, completing a marathon and gaining a Guinness World Record. I totally wasn't prepared for the weeks and months that followed. I was completely overwhelmed by so many lovely messages, emails, and phone calls. I had no idea that his accomplishment would inspire so many people. Something that started out as a personal goal for us both, to see if Lloyd could run a marathon and to see if I could coach him to achieve his dream, had turned into this complete inspirational journey. Lloyd has now completed 3 full marathons and 3 half marathons, among many other major achievements. This summer, we're going back to the beginning. He wants to work on getting his pace faster and run under 30 minutes for a park run. He's also focusing on his gymnastics as his main aim. He wants to go to the Special Olympics Summer Games in 2027. Running is what I do, so I didn't really think that I'd done anything out of the ordinary other than give Lloyd some time, support, and encouragement to enable him to achieve his goals. However, since the marathon, I've had so many conversations with parents wanting to know how they get their children with additional needs into sport. I suppose this is where my experience has helped many, and witnessing firsthand through Lloyd how much sport has helped his physical and mental well-being, and advocating how important sport is for everyone to lead a well-rounded life. As a mother, you should never underestimate your ability when enabling your child to follow their dreams and reach their goals. I became a Special Olympic volunteer to help enable my son's gymnastic club to become registered for Special Olympics, which resulted in Lloyd participating and competing in his favourite sports. I then went on to becoming his Special Olympic football team manager, knowing very little about football, but I could see the friendships he'd made and how the team interaction was helping his social maturity. The benefits were huge in comparison to me just doing a few hours of admin every week. From a mother's perspective, I have no doubt that my want for Lloyd to have an active life and my drive and perseverance to encourage clubs to become inclusive has resulted in Lloyd having a far greater quality of life and made our relationship all the more special. Our journey together has been inspirational, which is the word most used in the messages left by Lloyd's supporters and summed up by the illustrator Lucy Claire Dunbar, showing the world what's possible one step at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ceri. What an inspiring story and a motivating story. It's been clear that you had a major impact on Lloyd's life through sport. We can't wait to see what you both will do next. If you have any question for Ceri, please put that in the chat. Now we are happy to welcome Charita Boseman. Charita Boseman is a senior health manager at the Special Olympics North America, where she leads efforts to improve the health of people with intellectual disability with over 20 years of experience. She has been a passionate advocate for reducing health disparities among some of the most underserved populations. Charita holds a master's degree in health promotion and sports sciences and brings a unique perspective to her role that combines experience in health, sports, and inclusion to drive meaningful social change through innovative programming. Outside of work, she is the proud mom of an energetic 5-year-old whom she is actively introducing to a wide variety of sports, nurturing both a love for movement and a lifelong wellness. Please welcome Charita.
Thank you so much, Odette and Fabiola. It was great to hear what a force your mom has been for you all, and I can't wait to hear more. And Ceri, thank you for sharing your incredible story as Lloyd's sports role model. I'm even more inspired now to sign up for my next second half marathon, so can't wait. Hello, everyone. I will jump right in and talk about our role as mothers in the sport and health space. Next slide, Jeff. Thank you. So parents are instrumental in shaping children's habits and values, especially when it comes to health and physical activity. However, more traditionally, mothers have the greatest influence, not only because of our innate nurturing roles, but also due to our daily presence, in most cases in a child's routine, that impact the way children eat, move, and play, and their overall well-being. I've witnessed firsthand the powerful role mothers play in shaping children's experiences with physical activity, especially through volunteer and coaching roles in Special Olympics. I've also seen mothers actively involved in the Young Athletes program, which engages children ages 2 to 7 to build motor skills, foster inclusion, and introduces them to foundational sports skills. I had the amazing opportunity recently to coach a young athlete's after school program at my daughter's school, as you see in this picture here. And it was a transformative experience. I saw how simply encouraging her and her friends to try something new, whether it was a game or a skill, it challenged her and also boosted her confidence and motivation. That experience truly showed me how much of an impact a mother's involvement can have on a child's development and love for physical activity and sports. Not to mention, I've also involved her in lots of different sports. So for a few minutes, I'll share my insights from my literature review, exploring how mothers influence their children's involvement in sports, physical activity habits, nutritional behaviors, and general health outcomes. Next slide. So first, we'll talk a little bit about health behaviors. So mothers play a crucial role in shaping their children's physical activity habits. And research shows that when mothers are physically active themselves, their children are more likely to be active as well. There's a strong correlation between a mother's activity level and her child's likelihood of engaging in regular physical activity. This role modeling effect is particularly influential in early childhood when our children are closely observing and mimicking our behaviors. As you see there, I've been ice skating since I was about my daughter's age, and I've introduced her to the sport, and she loves getting out there with me as well. So she's mimicking those behaviors. But it's not just about setting an example. Mothers are often responsible for daily logistics for children, and we tend to provide a lot of emotional support. This includes driving children to sports practices, attending their games, or simply encouraging them to play outside. Research examining parent-child dynamics around physical activity highlights that this kind of parental facilitation is a key predictor of physical activity levels, especially among younger children. Next slide. So we know that nutrition is critically important for athletes. It directly affects performance, recovery, endurance, and overall health. And in the home, mothers are often the people who are shaping their children's eating habits from a young age. Much like physical activity, children's dietary patterns often closely mirror their mother's food preferences and behaviors. For example, I like to claim that I'm a flexitarian. So that means I dabble in vegetarianism and I also eat meat. And my daughter constantly says she's also a flexitarian. So as a mom, if we're prioritizing these healthy meals, children are more likely to do the same and be comfortable eating fruits and vegetables and making other food choices. Studies have shown that maternal health literacy, which is defined as a mother's ability to understand and apply health-related information, significantly influences children's nutrition. Mothers who are familiar with dietary guidelines are more effective at encouraging healthy eating habits and reducing their children's consumption of junk food. Healthy eating habits often begin in childhood and tend to shape a person's food choices and relationship with nutrition throughout their life. Next slide. So when it comes to participation in organized sports, children tend to lean on the emotional support from their moms, including praise and encouragement, which could lead to satisfaction in sports participation and help reduce dropout rates. Another study explored how parental beliefs and attitudes influence children's involvement in sports. This research found that mothers who held more progressive views on gender roles were significantly more supportive of their daughters participating in traditionally male-dominated sports like soccer, basketball, or martial arts. This support not only encouraged girls to engage in a broader range of physical activities, but also helped to challenge traditional gender norms in youth sports. Next slide, please. Mothers also play a key role in shaping their children's mental health and self-perception, especially when it comes to body image. This is particularly important for girls, as both body image concerns are a major reason many choose to stop participating in sports. In fact, research shows that 45% of girls drop out of sports due to low body confidence, often driven by societal pressures around thinness and beauty standards. So supportive parenting, especially for mothers, has been shown to improve children's self-esteem and body image, which are crucial for long-term engagement in physical activity and sports participation. However, it's important to note that when maternal attitudes become overly critical or focus solely on performance, it can lead to stress, burnout, or negative self-perception, particularly in adolescent girls. So it's not just about support, but it's about the quality of that support that we can provide. Next slide. The key takeaway is this. Mothers play a vital and multidimensional role in shaping their children's health behaviors, sports participation, and overall well-being. Our influence goes far beyond simple encouragement. We are emotional supporters, logistical coordinators, role models, and the foundation setters for our children's lifelong habits around food, movement, and health. Research consistently shows that the habits we model and the support we provide have a lasting impact on children's physical activity, mental health, and their relationship with food. As mothers, and especially as sports moms, we have the power to lay the foundation for lifelong health, encourage positive behaviors, and foster a healthy connection with sports participation. In closing, strategies to promote children's health must intentionally include and support the vital role of both parents, and especially mothers. It is important for us to recognize the powerful role we play in helping our kids thrive both on and off the field. Next slide. Thank you.
Thank you for your insights, Charita. It's clear that mothers have a lasting impact on the health and well-being of their children and can have great influence when it comes to sports. If you have any question for Charita, please put them in the chat. We would love to continue this conversation. And speaking of influence, our next speaker is very special to us. It's our mom, Haidy. She has undeniably impacted our sports journey. Our mom currently works at the National Reference Laboratory of the Guatemalan Social Security Institute and also runs her own private laboratory where she provides accessible healthcare services to our community. She is also an Special Olympics Guatemala's board of directors. Mom, we're excited to hear your story. Hi, good morning. My name is Haidy Trigueros. I'm Fabiola's Odette mom, as you heard. We're three. We have always been the three of us. And let me tell you a little bit about my story. The three of us have been working really hard. And we started since Odette was very small and diagnosed as autistic. On Facebook, I saw an ad that said that they were needing people that wanted to practice sports and they need to be with intellectual disabilities. I wondered what all the development will be, and I thought this could be a good idea, and I decided to take her over there. She was 12. To know which sport this school was for, and they said it was for badminton. So she started badminton at 12 without knowing anything about these sports. And she started playing with the racket, the space between in the field. And that's how she started, traveling the path of Special Olympics. When I saw her practice, I was told that she could never do anything. When I was young, I played sports, and what made me happy was that to be part of the sport team. So I wanted her to be part of sports as well. I wanted that to be a very fundamental part of her life. And I always wanted her to go to every practice, and I wanted them alone with Fabiola. They had about the same age. I want them both to practice sports. I insisted that through that training, they could develop certain discipline. And that way they could say it with good people, learning discipline. When Odette was able to classify for the Summer World Games, Abu Dhabi 2019, she showed me how brave she was and everything she could achieve in the field. She made this on her own. Nobody was making any decision for her. She struggled and fight to achieve all of this. And after 4 years of efforts, I never imagined that she could classify. So she won her place. After this, when she traveled to the other side of the world, a place she has never been. It's completely different language and traveling on her own. So she showed that she could be completely independent. And I was so happy. I cried. I, you know, I was here in Guatemala, and in Guatemala, we said, she finally can make it on her own. That was, I wasn't there with her, but I was so happy that she actually could be on her own. Some days we didn't have the money to go to training. My husband that passed away used to walk her there. The objective is not to have an excuse, to always take her to training. The responsibility was more important. No excuse was valid. So she learned to be responsible. She learned to go on her own and travel on her own from home to training. That brought her one step closer to her independence. And the important thing about her is that she felt empowered. Now she can say, I have no excuse. And she always goes to her training. Values like discipline, perseverance, and teamwork was fundamental for us because they have shown me this and we keep on moving forward. When they reach their goals, even through the bad times, for example, with Odette in Paraguay in 2024, Odette won her first gold medal. And when Fabiola traveled to Panama in the Leadership Summit 2021, they both showed me that goals could be achieved and that Special Olympics opened a door to an amazing, huge world. And we were so happy to be part of it. I feel so happy. But what they have achieved, I have no words. And they have motivated me, my family, and many people admire them, congratulate them, and drive them to keep on going because what both have achieved is amazing because other young girls have not had the opportunities they had. So this has teach them that everything they learn, it should be shared. And this makes me very proud. I am a happy mom, really very happy. A couple of times I've been interviewed in schools on moms that have asked me, how did you make them be the way they are? How did you teach them to become who they are? And I tell them that with lots of love, patience, care for them, show them a path full of sports, getting to know new people. This is better than just watching TV or just idle. Ode has been interviewed, and sometimes they call her to be interviewed and they ask her, how do you play sports? Thinking that they couldn't do anything, she couldn't do anything with that type of diagnosis. And the kids even have to present in the school, they have really studied, to achieve grades, and they share with Odette. And we hear, no, nothing that can be done, is not so. And as she kept on going in Special Olympics, and now she is part of the program of healthy athletes, athlete leaders, and all of these things has helped her grow more and more. And she is the one that said, well, no, no, she tells people what they can eat, what they should eat, what they should not eat. She goes and gives talks, and she's speaking in public now. She takes the microphone away from us now because she wants to raise her own voice. She has a little bit of difficulty speaking, but she still does it. For those moms that are beginning in this path where they have just received a diagnosis about a disability, let me tell you, give love, care, and patience because they become our teachers. They teach us on how to live. We must have the patience to learn, to move forward. And if you know more people, get them involved. Get them involved with Special Olympics because they change our life. It changed our life. So let's share that happiness with others. This is my life with them. And we'll keep going. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for inviting me to this webinar. And we're so very proud to represent Latin America. Thank you. Thank you, Mom. Amazing. We agree that you had an important influence on us, and we are thankful for all you have done and have sacrificed for us. And to close this time together, we invite Kiera Byland, a Special Olympics athlete leader, and member of the Executive Board of Directors of SOI, to share her story on how her mother has impacted her sport journey. Let's watch this inspiring video from Kiera.
Hi everyone, I'm Kiera Byland, the Special Olympics Great Britain athlete and leader, and also the current Global Athlete Congress Chair. My sports are swimming and equestrian. I first joined Special Olympics back in 2014 as a cyclist and swimmer. My first sport was swimming. As we live near a river, my mum wanted me to learn to swim for my safety. My mum encouraged me to get involved in sports for my health, for friendships. She did a lot of research to find what sports would be available and accessible for me to participate in. She was always on hand to chat to the coaches about my medical and learning needs. A special moment when my mum helped me to believe in myself was at the Special Olympics Summer World Games in 2015. I was representing my programme, Special Great Britain, competing in cycling for my first international competition. My mum said at the start of the race, all the hard work is done, so just go out there and enjoy every moment and believe in yourself and your skills. So I did just that. I won 3 goals in the 10K time trial, 10K road race and 15K road race. My mum shows her support in many ways, for example, by verbal communication, emotional support, taking pictures and videos of me at practice sessions so I can look back and see where I can improve and what I've done well, and not competitions so I can see for myself what I have achieved. My mum does a lot behind the scenes that has helped me to make such a difference in my journey. By giving up her time, personal time, her financial support. She does it so I can thrive through my sport. She has helped me to find the right coaches and mentors for me who I trust wholeheartedly so I can do my sporting and athlete leadership role duties. My mum has made lots of sacrifices to help me to follow my dreams by giving up our family holidays. She gives up her time in terms of fundraising to help me get to training, to travel to competitions. She's my biggest fan in the stands. And when she shouts, I can hear her. The best advice a mum has ever given to me, whether that's on or off the field, is to try my best and never give up, to believe in myself, be proud of my accomplishments, whatever the outcome is. There are a few things I'd like everybody to know about my mum, and that she is amazing. She's such a kind person. She has helped me in many ways, so I want to say a big thank you to her for everything that she does for me every day, for helping me to grow and develop personally and professionally in my sport, my leadership roles, and she is one of my best friends. I'd like to share a few proud moments that I've shared with my mum. And these are when I received my British Empire Medal for my services to sport from our late Queen. My mum was there to watch me, and even I think she had shed a tear. And the second is when we went to our King's coronation Now that was a moment we will both never forget. But I also know my mum is so proud of me, whether that's in the sports I've played or in my leadership roles in Special Olympics. She is my role model. My life would have been very different without my mum's support. She has helped me to grow and develop not only just in sports, but also my leadership roles. For example, she has helped me to find personal assistants to support me during the theoretical parts of coaching courses. That has helped me to become a British Cycling Level 2 coach, ASA Level 2 swim teacher, a Bike Ability Level 1, 2 and 3 instructor, and the Special Olympics MATP coach. I hope that other athletes and families learn from my story that family engagement is so important and vital to help special needs athletes to thrive so they can be successful in sport and leadership roles that the athletes choose. Your mum can be your biggest fan, advocate and supporter, and most of all, a friend. Thank you.
Amazing. Kira's relationship with her mom is truly special. The impact of her mom is undeniable. What an inspiring way of closing this time together. The motivation and mother support can significantly improve trust, confidence, motivation, and long-term engagement of a child in sports. With this, we would like to invite everybody to reflect silently or through the chat on this question. What's one thing you'll see or do differently now? Without a doubt, the mothers who are actively involved, whether through attending game as volunteers or simply showing interest, help foster a sense of value and belonging in their child's athlete's experience. They are truly the force in the world of sports. And to end, we would like to thank you all for joining. The next webinar will be about women in coaching. In this webinar, we will have hosts and panelists from the field of sports and Special Olympics. Register now if you haven't already done so, so you don't miss out. And finally, thank you again to our sponsor, Airy Real Foundation, for their continuous support of the Special Olympics Women and Sport webinar series. Thank you. See you soon.